So the way we look at Tracer, as I shout in the background, is she is the shepherd. Now I've said this before, but she is the quintessential flanker. She is the shepherd. In other words, her entire goal is to bully any and every off angle in any and every flank that she can possibly can. Your job as Tracer is to make the entire enemy team do this. Like that. Because you're so flexible, or so mobile, excuse me, because you're so good at 1v1s, and because you're very good at pressure, you can do that. You can be here, you can be there, you can be here, you can be there, and you can essentially 1v1 and win the 1v1 against any hero. Now that's important. You look at the enemy composition, they've got the Ashe, they've got BAP, they've got Ball, they've got Tracer, they've got Sigma. There's a lot of things that you can do to pressure to force them to suck in, right? Polycroc, think of the fall. Now, we went over a Tracer VOD not long ago, and we talked about marking, not marking, when should you mark, or when should you not mark, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'm going to touch on that briefly. The enemy's comp is also running Ball Tracer. So their job is to say, hey, you're going to try and herd our Ashe in, you're going to try and herd our BAP in and squish them up together, you know, like, you know, a face on a windshield, but we're not going to let you do that. We don't want you to do that. We want our Ashe to be able to play a flank and play like long sightlines. You can't bully our Ashe. You can't bully our BAP either. And so they're going to start shooting you too. So what you end up happening, yes, it's your VOD. You moron. You blind as a bat? Never mind, I know the answer to that already. But the thing, so what it becomes a micro game of Tracer versus, you know, Tracer, or Tracer and Ball versus Tracer and Ball, and they're fighting, and they're trying to win that flank. Because if they force the enemy Ball Tracer to run away, well, guess what? They either then go kill the BAP Ashe, or the BAP Ashe go, oh no, our Ball Tracer lost, we have to run away because now their Ball Tracer are after us. And so then you go. But if you lose, then your backline has to go, which in this case is the Kree BAP. So the entire goal is which Ball Tracer is going to win against the enemy Ball Tracer, and therefore send the enemy team squishing up. And when the enemy team squishes up, they do less damage because the Ashe can't play in high ground. She has to drop, she has to run, hide with her BAP, and hide with her Lucio or Sigma, right? And then your Ashe is free, or your Kree is free, and your Ashe doesn't do anything. So that's the goal. Now, I'm ignoring matchups. I'm ignoring maybe they don't even roll out on Lucio. I'm ignoring everything. I'm just explaining the general concept. Oh dear. But obviously the issue here is that, you know, you force lamp, and then you're here, you're getting shot by Bob, but you really need to go back in and contest, and you're no longer in a position to do that. So, I think what I would have done here is I would have preferred you to move here, to continue to shoot, and just play this LOS here. You see what I'm saying? Like, play in this angle here, and this is your cover. And then you can even clutch around this way. I do not like you defaulting and moving back towards point. You recalled here, but you do not stay here. I can understand not wanting to play here either, but that's why you have this flank here. That's why you have this cover here. The Sigma, the BAP, the Zen, they'd have to chase you to get you, and they would not have been able to do that even then. Yeah, but you're not really well positioned for this type of pressure. Because I'm thinking that you're gonna like hug this corner, but then you swing wide again. They throw a right click at you, you get discorded, and then you blink your last blink back to here, or your second to last blink. I don't think it was necessary. I would have liked you to have, because remember, your pressure doesn't have to come from raw damage. The pressure can come from them being aware that you're there and having to react to it. But if that's the case, then you want to survive as long as possible, right? Like, your job is to incite as much panic or to kill people. And you don't incite a lot of panic if you blink in here and then have to recall 1 second later. So I want you to extend your stay. Obviously, play around health packs better, but the big thing would be to play around corners better and be smarter around your resources. So like, you come in here, play this cover here, and then if you're gonna play here, play this cover here too. Play the cover, hide, blink out across here, shoot, and then you can blink back, and you got a lot more options. Galactic Cowl, but you're giving your team time to find value out of them looking at you. You've given your team all of what? Like right here, you've given your team like 5 seconds. Yeah, you've given your team like 5 seconds. Right? Bang, recall, 5 seconds. Not even 5 seconds to get anything done. That's just not enough time, man. That's just not enough time. And now you're gone. All the flank control and pressure that you got is gone. So I'm not a fan. So we'd like to see it. the big thing here is that you're changing it up. So you're not being predictable, you're being unpredictable. Now, this gives you a free opportunity to pressure point. This gives you a free opportunity to pressure Ash, to pressure Zen. Because remember, the goal here is not necessarily that like you're going to get kills, but that you're going to force a response. You're going to force them to move, you're going to force them to clump, you're going to force them to look at you. They're scared. So, I don't like this. Don't play games. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is again where your positioning is an issue. Like, you have the right idea. You have got to the flank, you've got to the flank unmarked. But what's the issue right now? What's the issue right now? You're waiting for ball to do something. Okay. But what's the issue with what you're doing right now? First off, I don't even think you need to wait for ball to do something. You could have already positioned where I want you to position before you do it right now. What's the issue? Yeah, you should have gone around tower. Like I don't know what your fascination is with like open spaces. Like I don't know if you've got claustrophobia or what, but this is agony for me to see, because you're constantly entering these fights at like lower HP, and then you're just like panicking. Like right now, you could literally sit right here around this mini health pack. First off, you wouldn't have been shot. Pressure from a better, deeper angle here. Play all around this playground. Can you imagine the chaos that you would cause here? And how much more pressure you'd actually push? Because what's happening is you get one body shot, and now look at where you are. There's your recall. You're too far away. In fact, you were also thinking about leaning towards your team to get health. This is not an angle anymore. At least this is not a tracer angle. Like, this might work if you're McCree, but this isn't a tracer angle. You're too far away. You're straight forward. This is no good. Like, somehow a ball Zen have failed to kill a BAP Zen, or a ball tracer failed to kill a BAP Zen. Have they even used lamp? I mean, you guys didn't even force lamp. You guys didn't even force shift. It's like you're trying to joust with a spaceship. It's like, no, it's the wrong tools, man. Like, you're not playing to your strengths. Cover to cover, cover to cover, cover to cover. But you gotta deepen your angle. Okay, so this is actually a perfect example. Now, I hope you survive this, but this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about in terms of positioning. You go in a flank, you get some pressure on Widow. Widow turns around and kind of panics a little bit. They call, help me, help me, help me. Widow looks like she probably gets Harmony Orb. Holy cow, what a shot. Let's see what happens to Widow. Okay, you harass Widow. She gets Harmony Orb. Dare Tracer runs and mirrors you from across the map. Now let's see what your team is doing at the same time. Your team has a 3v2 opportunity at this choke that they can push out on, right? And your ball is actually taking no damage as well. You recall later, you force Harmony Orb. Now, brilliant. Like, brilliant. I mean, mechanics were okay. You know, I'm not going to critique your mechanics. I'm not here to coach your tracer 1v1s. I can help you a little bit with that, but I'm not worried about that. But you did your job. What was the difference maker here? What was the difference maker here? What was the difference between why are you winning this? You had a great angle, but you also played the corner. You played the corner. You played the health pack, you played the corner, and you did good cover. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody but that tracer could shoot you. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. You got the angle, you didn't forfeit it, and you played carefully. You played your cover, you played your corners, you didn't panic, and guess what? An opportunity presented itself. Opportunity presents itself, GG's. Is your priority the Widow that's in here? I don't think it matters. I think whoever presents himself. If the Widow is more isolated, which he clearly was here, then go Widow. And you went Widow and she died. If the Zen is more isolated or easier to kill, then go for the Zen. There is no target priority outside of a baseline. It's more along the lines of what opportunity presents itself. Okay? Now just sit here. Just easy. Like, what could she do? What can she do? You have the health pack, you have the cover. Bingo. Now you go in the angle again. I don't love this. I would want you to double back and go this way again, or deal with point. I don't like you going back this way. Right here is great. Again, do you see the target priority here? Should you be going for Zen or Sigma here? It doesn't matter. This Sigma's right in front of you. He's got his back to you. Just good tracer gameplay, man. Good frickin' tracer gameplay. This is clean. This is clean. This entire fight, your back must be aching. You have almost single-handedly won this fight. But the big thing for you is think about how well your fights in pressure went when you were playing cover around, like you were positioning, like suctioning to the wall. That, along with, you need to prioritize, like some of your movement was awkward. Like it felt like sometimes, a couple times you just ran in front of the enemy team, just goofily, instead of like playing outside, outskirts, perimeter, cover to cover to cover, pressure, and then all-inning really quickly and playing from there. Do you have any questions?